You're listening to The Crypt, and I'd like to welcome Jacqui Abbott to the show. Jacqui was the female vocalist in the Beautiful South from 1994 until 2000, when she left the band to look after her young children. But to the delight of fans everywhere, Jacqui and Paul Heaton reunited, and back in May released a brand new album called What Have We Become, and are now back on tour. So you're very welcome to the show, Jacqui.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for having me on. Thank you.
Well, firstly, could you tell us about how you first came to meet Paul and join the Beautiful South?
Long time ago, but yes, I can. Yeah, it was. I would have been the first time I met him. I was 17, and it was very briefly. It was at a festival they hold in St Helens, the town where I live, and it was a music festival. Well, not like it was like a family festival thing, and the band happened to be playing there. The Beautiful South playing there in the main tent, but they had a big tent that they had for music. And the day before it started, Paul had travelled across to meet with a friend in St Helens and gone out to the town and on the night. And I just happened to be out with a friend, and that's how we came across one another. My friend noticed him and recognised him, and then we were asked. We were called over and just asked if we wanted to go to a party back at the house, and we went and started drinking on the lawn outside. Everybody was talking about music, and my friend who was with me prompted me to sing in front of Paul, and I did. And he kind of looked at me and said, "You know, you've got a lovely voice, and if anything further down the line happens where we'd like another female singer to be with us, what do you think?" And I couldn't help thinking that, he'd had a little bit too much to drink with Paul. not being totally, wouldn't remember the whole thing about the night. So I just said, "Oh yeah, fantastic, brilliant."
Yeah.
And lo and behold, about a year and a half, maybe just shy of 2 years later, his friend who we knew from St Helens came and found me in a shop where I was working, and just said to me, "Do you remember the night when you met Paul? He's remembered you, and he'd like you to go and audition," which I just found incredible, because it really was so brief meeting him. It was just a few hours, and that was it really. And I think we only sang for a couple of minutes. It was just like a little burst of song, and that was it really. That was me. That was the story of how I met him really, which is, I think, even when I tell it over again, it does blow.
It is. It's an amazing story. Were you a fan of the band before joining?
Well, I knew that I was more a fan of the House Martins, I think. I didn't know much about the Beautiful South. I knew of them, but I didn't know much about the music. I didn't know much of the music. But as soon as my friend recognised him, the night that we seen him, the first thing she said was, because they were the Beautiful South then, but she looked across and said, "Oh my God, that's the singer, that's the guy from the House Martins."
God.
And I was like, looked across and I went, "Oh God, yeah, it is, yeah." So it was sort of weird, because we had, at the time when cassettes were all the rage.
Yeah.
Music cassettes. We had like full cassettes, and now that's what I call quite good. And we used to have it on all the time whenever we was around at our house, we knew of the House Martins more than the Beautiful South.
The year you joined saw the release of Carry On Up the Charts, and sure, you had massive hits then with Good as Gold and Everybody's Talking at Me. How surreal was it then, going from being like a regular girl in St Helens to being the lead singer of this hugely successful band?
I think it was so weird really, because I think I always used to say this to people whenever I was asked this, because of the frame of mind of the lads in the band as well, because it was all just a big gang of, huge gang of lads, and they were all very down to earth, and they never really acted or played up to the pop stardom side of things really, and because they were like that, and I'd come from a very real job. At the end of the day, it was just like from a very northern town, and I think because they were all very down to earth and they didn't play up to they didn't think too highly of themselves. They really were very funny and very honest and very down to earth, and I suppose I went into it and I just felt it was the best thing really, because you go into it and you don't start having delusions about yourself being fantastic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You are with like a group of very honest lads who
kept your feet on the ground.
More than anything, to be friends and to have a good laugh and enjoy the experience, really. So I think it never really sank in with the magnitude of it, really. I suppose from the jump from one thing to another never really sank in, really, for me. And I think that's good in a way, because, and I think as well, my age helped a lot, because I was 19 and when I was after you, 19. And I think you're quite fearless at that age, aren't you? You don't really understand the sort of the gravity of what's going on around you, especially something like that. But again, it's a good thing, because your nerves are less prominent. You're more confident in what you're doing, I think, and especially if the people around you fill you with confidence as well. You are more confident in that job, really. So I was very, very lucky. One, being the age that I was, and two, having the people that I went to work with, really, because it helped me to sort of not realise or not think about too much or worry too much about what exactly it was, really. And I think that really made me feel. I think the more, if I think about it now, it is quite, my tummy turns over and I'm thinking, my God, it was huge at the time.
Oh, it was.
And but then again, I don't think I would have got through it any other way, really. I'd have been more nervous and I'd have been more aware of the situation. I think I would have been too frightened to do it, really. And I think I'm glad that it was the way it was when because it gave me the confidence to sort of just get on with it. And then I think after a few years, once I started doing it, it did dawn on me a little. I thought, it's pretty amazing, really. Go to some wonderful places. I've got to know some wonderful people, and it's a job that I adore doing, you know what I mean? So it did, luckily it dawned on me after a couple of years. I was used to it by then. If it had dawned on me in the first week or so, I think I would have been just
overwhelmed. Well, then you left the band in 2000 to be at home with your children. What else have you been up to during your time away from the music industry?
I did a few things. I started to volunteer. I volunteered for 3 different organisations in the town where I live, which all deal with helping or spending time with families or elderly people, who possibly need help, or they need company, or they need just support, work, really. And so I worked for 3 different organisations in St Helens, or volunteered, sorry. And then in that, my son had just started his secondary school, and they had a music department, so I went in to ask, they need a volunteer? And I started doing that for a little while, and in doing that I went back to college and did a couple of things. I did creative writing, and then I did a teaching assistance course, which I passed, and went on to that, and the school found out that I did that. They told me that a job was come open, so they told me that you should apply for it, because there's a chance you might get it, and I did, and I got the job. So I became a teaching assistant, and I was working in a secondary school for a while as well. So
You've been very busy.
Yeah, as much as and also as well as I was looking after my 2 sons, especially my youngest son.
Yeah,
it's the one who has the autism. So as much when people say 10 years, and it was just over 10 years, I think, in between obviously leaving and then starting up again. And as long as it sounds, it went by in the blink of an eye.
I know,
really.
I think when you've kids, you just don't feel the years going, don't you not?
It was incredible, and I mean, I think more than anything, once I sang again with Paul, which was for the 8th that we did, the project he did in 2011 and 12, we did that again, and it was just, I couldn't believe that I'd left it that long, and it was just was a reminder of how much I love singing, and I missed it terribly. So it was it really did seem like 10 or so years had just gone by like that in a flash, So it was.
Yeah. How did it come about that you and Paul met up again to start performing again?
The reconnection happened via Facebook, of all things, via social media, which it was just by him sending me a message one evening and one night to my Facebook page, a message on my thing, and he said, I'm going to be doing a project in a little while. I don't know if you wanted to be involved with it, if you'd like to. Don't worry if you don't want to. And I was like, and I happened to be on the phone with my mum at the time. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and I sent a message, and I just swear. And I kind of said to my mum, at the very moment that it came to, I said, Mum, I think Paul's asking me to sing with him again. And she just started laughing. She went, you've got to do it. She said, you miss it terribly, you must do it. And so that's how it happened again. And the minute we started the work, and we worked with so many different lovely people, like on that thing, and it was just, it was like I've been in a coma for 10 years, and all of a sudden it's coming out of it and waking up, and it was just wonderful.
And then the new album, What Have We Become, that was released back in May, and you've been playing to sell out crowds. What's it like being back performing after all this time? Were you nervous to be getting up in front of such massive crowds, or did it just come naturally?
I think it would be. I know people always used to say that, and I think I knew that anyway. You know, you'd be strange if you didn't get nervous in any circumstance like that. You know, but it was lovely to sort of see everybody's reaction again. But I think I'm trying to think back now. So we did like. We actually played in Italy last year, just a one-off gig, and then we did one in Sheffield as well, at the Plug in Sheffield, and we played there, and that was really, really lovely. But then once we started the tour, and it was more, you know, it was a run of so many dates, it was wonderful seeing everybody's, it really was fantastic. It was so lovely to get that kind of welcome from people back, welcome back from people, sorry, and just to see the reactions within the songs that we've already, you know, that Paul's already done, but then the new stuff as well. It was just wonderful. Yeah. It really was. I think the excitement of it balances out the nerves, really, because you are nervous. I do get nervous. I mean, I still do after all this time, but it's so lovely. I wouldn't trade it in for the world. It's just a lovely feeling to know that people still appreciate and like the music. It's wonderful.
Do your kids find it strange to see Mum on stage and on the TV?
Well, with my youngest son, it's a little bit different, really, because he doesn't. He kind of freaks out when you try and show him anything where I'm on, and it's just because he doesn't. I suppose it's what he's got, really, is his autism. He likes particular things. He likes certain DVDs, and he loves certain things in his life that don't involve. Especially not seeing his mum, it's a little bit weird. Freaks him out a little bit. My children have sort of reacted a lot different now as they've been they're older and they've seen the experience in the different years of their life. But the oldest son, you know, has come to a few gigs so far and been very bowled over by the audience and how it's gone down and what people think, really. So I think he's very proud, but he would never say too much to me. He's just like, oh, that was brilliant.
Bless.
That's a very simple reaction, but really you could see he really enjoyed it, and he found the whole thing very strange, especially with being on TV again, doing TV. Yeah. He found it quite humorous, really. He's like, that's weird.
And then you guys are playing the Olympia in Dublin on October the 28th. Do you play old favourites as well as new songs from the album?
Yeah, there'll be some beautiful soul, there'll be some House Martins, and I think even more so now. The last tour we did, we played about maybe 4 off the new album, but there might be even more than that now, with people being used to the material and having bought the album and listened to it. There'll be more. There should be more songs now off the new one as well. So it's a mix of everything, really. It's a really nice mix. Paul tries to pick a good balance of all his work, really, because I think he's very, and it's Paul's solo stuff as well. You know, it's a mix of all the work that he's done, because he's got such a huge back catalogue to choose from, and a very like sort of a lovely back catalogue to choose from as well, of songs and successful songs that he's had over the years, you know what I mean? So it will be a mix of everything.
Oh, that'll be a fantastic treat for fans then.
Yeah, it will. I mean, I feel really chuffed to be playing, and especially when you hear the reaction to it, not just like both really old and new stuff. It's lovely because it's gone down so well. People have loved You know, we've had such good reviews about the new album. And you always get such lovely reaction to all the other songs that we play that people know really well. It's just lovely. We get such a good reaction so far, and it's just lovely to see that. Lovely to see people enjoying it still and really appreciating that music. Really, it shows how much of a reputation the band built up over the years, and now it still strikes a chord with people really, and they like it, you know what I mean? It's wonderful.
Oh, fantastic. And then where can fans follow you on social media?
I'm on Twitter, and I've got a Facebook page as well, which is actually my full name. It's not just Jacqui, it's Jacqueline, which is my full name, Jacqueline Abbott. And Twitter is it's just Jacqui Abbott. Then it's me acting. I don't know what they call it. I'm not clued up with it. It's just amazing. But it's at Atomic Box, which is atomic_box. Your screen name thing. You know what I mean? But the name is on there, Jacqui Abbott. Anyway.
Perfect. Well, Jacqui, thanks so much for taking the time to come on the show today, and I wish you continued success with the album and tour.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for asking me on. You're very welcome.